Hey, welcome back. Yes, the second. We're on to the second. Mark the flying over there. We're on to the second.
I know.
Thank God it's Friday, Potty Friday. I can't see my. I've got my camera in front of me telly, so I cannot see the title of the show. I've forgotten it already. You know what I mean? How are you doing, anyways? Are you good?
Not bad, yeah. Fighting
Good.
fit yourself.
Yes. I'm top of the world, to be honest.
Good.
Yes, good. So this show, if anyone's new on it, we're gardeners through and through, but this is a show where we can kind of talk about anything and just ease ourselves into the weekend. Just, it's a Friday night. Anything goes.
Yeah.
Talk about anything.
Long week at work. Take it easy. Feet up. Brew. Glass of wine. Glass of beer. Whatever you fancy. Whatever your tipple is. Just
and possibly,
chill.
Mark, it's best not to start a pilot show talking about ironing and hoovering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe it's different topics this
Possibly.
week.
I want to jump straight on, Mark. Have you heard of, because I think it was kind of relevant, the Dunbar number 150. Have you heard of the Dunbar number 100?
No, I
have you looked it up?
No.
Or?
I know where Dunbar is because it's
Right.
not far along the road there, but I don't know what the Dunbar 150
Well,
is.
you know how you're kind of saying you've got your team,
Yeah.
and it's just like, like work, and I had a team, but now I haven't got that team, so I'm kind of,
Yeah.
I'm not saying lonely, but,
Yeah.
I certainly don't mix with as many people.
No.
But the Dunbar number, 150, is how many people you can have as a close, apparently it's worked out by
right.
this Mr. Dunbar, how you can have as a close friends group. You can only have a certain many. Do you know what I mean? And then once you start getting past that 150, you kind of they're not classed as true friends. Do you know what I mean? So there's a number 150, and when you mentioned it, Mark, that's one thing where I kind of think, I missed that. I didn't miss the work. Don't get us wrong, but I missed the 15 minutes of walking into work. Chit chatting, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, no, it's when pear shaped, it's when this, what we're doing, how you doing? And then, then it was work after that.
Yeah,
so
after that.
And that little kind of that we had like a lovely little hub of like say 12 hour. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm not a one for kind of keeping in touch. I'm pretty good with my own company.
Yeah.
So it's I'm like where Melanie still sees people from different works. You know what I mean? And goes out to the drop of the hat. If actually now, Mark, if someone said we're going out, Tony, for like a reunion, not bother.
I don't know about.
I'm one of them. Now I am a glass half empty when it comes to like so. Well, yeah.
That's not. I'm with you. I was going to say 150 is a lot of people to say friends, like to say like actual friends. 150, because I'd say I could probably split my friendship groups into specific, like just small ones, because I wouldn't say I've got like loads of friends, like loads and loads of friends everywhere. You've got people acquaintances, people you've met over time and stuff like that, but like proper friends. So I've got my friends from when I grew up, so down in like Cramlington down there. So friends I've been friends with like 40 years. My pals, I still see them. Most of them still live in the sort of northeast of England in different places, but we still meet up every now and again. Not as often as we probably should do, but we still chat. We still keep in touch. People I went to school with, people I played football with, would be out every night after school playing footy or doing whatever. And then I've got my.
So you still meet them people.
Still in touch, yeah. 40.
Right, well,
I would say
I haven't got
40
anything
years.
like that. No,
40
nothing.
years, and there's a core group of us, probably 7 or 8 of us, that are all still in touch, and still get a beer every now and again. Well, everyone's growing up, everyone's got kids, everyone's got jobs, lives, all that stuff. So when you're dead busy all the time, aren't you, with stuff? So I think trying to find the time for everyone to be in the same place at the same time is really tough. But up here, obviously, I moved to Scotland.
And no one wants to come up.
Nah, so 2008, how long ago was that?
Was it 17
years ago. So most of my friends up here are from work, from being at work, but like really good friends now, like people that I'd call friends before I called them colleagues. So it's a small group. I wouldn't say like loads of. It maybe takes me a long time to trust people. You know, to sort of get to know someone, to trust them, to chat with them. Because some of the jobs that I've had, I've kind of seen the best and worst of humanity, of society. Some of the stuff that I've seen and dealt with and things like that from my past. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. It takes me a long time to trust someone. I think and find a group.
It's funny, like I say, there's a few. I've got I don't know, 2 or 3 kind of friends now. I would say are friends where when before kids and when myself and my wife got together, there was this big hub of people. Do you know what I mean? And like we're kind of in that where we lived in Newcastle, we're kind of everyone congregated. Our house was the house to go. But then you have kids, and then some don't have kids. So that all of a sudden you're just not synced up together. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of, we're going to go down the town tonight. And then you start meeting friends that have got kids. You know what I mean? And it's you start going down. So that's what, and then, like I say, kids grow up and stuff like that, and you end up having friends where you take the kids to school. You end up meeting friends. You know what I mean? Because they become friends, so you become friends with the kind of parents kind of thing. So, but I seen this Dunbar number. And it is apparently a thing, so you can Google it, do you know what I mean? And it is like, I'm sure it is 150. You know, after that time, the brain kind of cope with like calling them like friends, you know what I mean? Like associates, or you know them vaguely, do you know what I mean? But
it makes me think of the
150 for me.
Is it 6 degrees of separation? Where they reckon you're only 6 people away from meeting the person, anyone in the world, you're only 6 people away. From meeting anybody in the world. So somebody knows someone knows the person that you want to meet. And it could be anyone. It could be literally anyone. The most famous person in the world. You're only 6 degrees of separation away from them. Yeah.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? You know, because we've got some show notes, and you put, watching my video, that you kind of know that area where I was living, and you were a copper in that area as well.
In that area, So it's we called it the West End. So the West End, West End of Newcastle. So my mum grew up in Fenham. So my nana, my nana and granddad lived in Fenham on Severus Road. It was called.
Right, I bet it's not there now, is it not?
No, it's different, man. It's so different.
It's
what
all
it used to be.
It's all student like houses have been turned into.
It's different people. I mean, I remember when I used to go to my nana and granddad's when I was younger. It was a lovely place, like beautiful. Like the neighbours were lovely and all that. And then I remember when I was in my teens, like my nana got burgled a couple of times and stuff like that. And I think that the area had changed. You know, and I mean, I was friends not through in the police, but I was friends with a guy called Alan Evans. He was an inspector in the police, and I always remember him telling us, right, he once arrested a guy, I don't know if you ever heard the name before, Viv Graham.
Yes.
Big Newcastle gangster sort of guy, right? And I remember him telling us that he went to arrest him, and he like put his hand on his arm like that, and he said the boy just clenched his fist, and he said his hand just went, oh, because this boy's muscle just went, oh. And he was like, but like, what I was getting to with that is, like, back in that sort of day, like, there were the proper old school sort of gangsters. You know, they'd go around and they would literally have fist fights, they'd beat each other up and stuff like that. But now, I'm led to believe, the West End there's a lot of, like, Eastern European gangsters who've moved into the area. And instead of just sort of, like, old school fist fighting stuff, they don't think twice about going up and shooting each other or whatever. You know, it's totally different.
I think it's totally changed. Do you know what I mean? And mind you, when we kind of moved out, because like I say, we've been here, Mark, it's coming up to like 28 or 30 years. It's somewhere around there. When we moved out, it was still predominantly the old school violence up there. But it was just like 3 times we got burgled. The day Ellie was born, they came and burgled. The day I went to, I was there watching Ellie's birth, the burgled. And honestly, Mark, we had a kitchen, and up, if you ever live in like kind of that area or any city centre, you always have like a back door. You have a bolt in the ceiling and a bolt in the floor. Well, because it was Benwell, We had iron grates on the window, like
Yeah.
it was decorative stuff, but it cost you a
Aye,
fortune from a blacksmith. Then we had two bowls, two bowls, two
Jeez.
bowls, two bowls, then the lock.
Yeah.
That was on the back door. They came,
Crikey.
I swear to God, this was the third time, and they chiseled the brickwork out of the door. So when I came in,
Man.
the door was still attached to the door frame. The door
Yeah.
frame was still attached to the first like lot of bricks on the kitchen floor. And
Wow.
they did all that to pinch like the third time I'd built up a CD collection. A works laptop, which was like, you know, like a laptop in them days was like chunky thick.
Yeah.
And like nothing. Do you know what I mean? Nothing.
Nah.
And it was just like, and then we put our, like, that was the kind of the straw that broke. Because we always used to like think, oh, we're hip, we can live, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, but that was the one, because Ellie was born, it was like, nah, get out.
Yeah.
So we put our house up, Mark, for sale. And I think we paid 45,000 for it then. And honestly, the house, Mark, was just unreal.
Yeah.
You had all the deeds going back, you know what I mean? So we knew it belonged to like a soldier, a colonel, all this. It had
Brilliant.
skirting boards that were 1.5 feet tall, stripped back to the
magic.
wood. It had
Yeah.
all stained glass. It had
Beautiful.
this big ornate staircase,
Yeah.
3 floors. Do you know what I mean? But it was just like, if you could have took that house and put it here, you would have
Yeah.
been a millionaire. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
But
Oh, no.
we put it up for
Mad.
sale, Mark, and a week later, there was, I don't know if you can remember, the Benwell riots.
All right, yeah. Just, I remember the Meadowell riots. I remember Meadowell.
Well, it was that kind of
Benwell.
that in that area. So there was Benwell riots, and there was filmed all over. There was shown, like, I had friends. I was doing like a science fiction podcast. I had friends from California saying,
Yeah.
"Is that your street, Tony?" There, you know what I mean?
It's on the telly.
It's on the telly. The mother-in-law turned up one day.
Aye.
One day, they pinched that car. They took it to a school playing field, and they just did donuts on the school playing field.
Oh,
it was
man.
an old Vauxhall.
Jeez, oh.
And I swear to God, I also remember that playing field, Mark, was chewed to bits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The car was like a rally-looking car. And I always used to joke with the mother-in-law. I said, that car's had the best 10 minutes of its life. Because it's
Yeah.
been driven by the mother-in-law, you know what I mean? 20 mile an hour, 30, where for the last 10 minutes of its life, it's just went...
Went out with a bang.
Aye. I would often come out, you know, from there.
Yeah.
And I would like go to the car because I used to work in like Kielder Forest. I would go to my car, and it wasn't where I parked it. It was on the other side of the road. And I was
Right.
like, that happened. What would have happened once? That
Why
I was
is
like,
it?
what? They'd let the handbrake off, and it had just rolled to the other side of the road. You know what I mean? It was an old Datsun. Do you know what I mean? It was an
Yeah,
old crappy thing. But I was like,
man.
that's the only way that could have.
Yeah.
They've getting in for a joke, let the handbrake off, and it's just like
Yeah.
down across the road, and just like. I
Aye.
found
So-
we caught one person, Mark, because we were
Yeah.
all like, my wife still is vegetarian there now.
Aye.
We had like this back garage thing, which would have been ideal for like doing all sorts. You know what I mean? Like now, I could have used it for anything. We
Yeah.
had a big chest freezer in there, and I
Nice.
caught a lad, little fat lad, standing in my chest freezer, pinching corn.
Oh, amazing.
You know what I mean? And I was
Oh,
like,
honestly.
you're pinching vegetarian food.
Aye.
You know what I
Aye.
mean? And
Oh.
we lost because no one, because of the riots, we lost 17,000 on that house. Someone just came along. No one would. We
Aye.
were getting
No one
offers
would
for the
touch it.
house, but the
Aye.
mortgage people wouldn't give them the money because of their
Nuts, isn't
area.
it?
And it was a
Yeah.
school teacher that came from Jesmond
Right.
who sold a pokey flat made of, because Jesmond's like, as you
Oh,
know,
Desmond's aye.
you know what I mean? Made a fortune, and he was able to buy this just with cash, and he just give her
Wow.
cash. And I mean, thank God. I know it
Aye.
sounds horrible, but the French bought Northumberland Water, and I had shares. You know what I mean? I had me kind of mentor told us to
Yeah.
buy shares in the company because we went private, and I made when the French bought were it made 17,000 the shares. So I mean,
Nice.
I didn't see any of it, but it just
Yeah.
kind of went straight to the
Even
kind
it
of
out. Aye.
we got out. You know what I mean? And then
Jeez, oh.
Then the real debt started when we came here.
Well, I think a lot of those, like a lot of burglaries, I think you get two different types. Like ones like yours, I think, where they're coming in, and it's often fueled by like drug users. So people trying to pay for their drug habit, they're trying to get money to buy drugs. But I think round here was it last year, and I think this is a different types of burglaries that are coming now, that they're breaking into houses to steal the car keys, to steal the cars, because they can't get the cars away unless they can do fancy things where they can intercept the signal from the key ring to the car and stuff like that. But a lot of the time now, they're breaking into the houses to steal the car keys. But if you've got a brand new car sitting on the drive, if you've spent 40, 50 grand on a car, or whatever brand new cars cost, then just breaking in, grabbing the car keys, and if you've got 2 or 3 cars, most households have 2 cars nowadays, don't they? You see them parked all over, getting in, get the car keys, get the cars, and they're away. And even then, like one of my pals has got stays down the road in a town called Bowness, and he's got a Land Rover Defender, but like a more like an older one, not like like one of the fancy new ones. But they get nicked because the parts are so expensive.
Right.
So people nick the cars. They just get within the blink of an eye. They're broken down into all the component parts. But because they're not made anymore, they flog the parts. And these people must be made a fortune from it. Absolute fortune. There you are.
Side hustle 101. I'll take a note of that. Defenders.
The one there's a
possible avenue.
I think somebody had said in the chat about like YouTube channels, like favourite YouTube channels you like to watch. And there's this boy I like watching on YouTube. He's mainly does like shorts. He does the shorts, and he's on TikTok as well. And he's a car locksmith. And he turns up in his van, and say, "Oh, lock my car keys in the boot." They've put their keys down, distracted by the dog or the kids or whatever, and shut the boot, and keys are gone. And he's got this thing in his van, and it's this like row of lockpicks, and he like opens them up and he puts them in, and he does this weird tappy thing on the thing in and out,
right?
And it must be feeding it in and out. The little pointy bits on the key. He must be able to feel and line it up, and it takes him like the best car you can see. Like someone's got like some amazing BMW or something. You think dead secure. this boy sends 30 seconds, dunk, dunk, and he's in the car, and I'm like, wow. And then if they need a new key, gets his laptop out, plugs it into the car, goes to his little drawer, gets the spare key out, puts it on the thing, programs it in. 2 minutes later, got a brand new key for the car.
Never.
He's passed all the security in like 2.5 minutes.
Well, that's amazing. Now, because the daughter bought a last car, not this one she's got now, the last one, which was a Nissan Juke.
Yeah.
The garage was going to charge them, because it only came with one key. The garage was going to charge them £500 for a spare key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think this, from his videos, it's a boy down south. I think he's like a sort of Cockney-ish sounding guy. So he's down, down southeast somewhere. And I'm sure when I've seen him, he's talked about money and people pay him on the cards and stuff like that. And, like 150, maybe it depends on what type of key. Fancy keys might cost a lot of money, but...
Well, I can't see a Nissan Juke. You know what I mean?
Nah, you go to a dealership though, and they're going to charge you through the roof. But I had to get my water. Speaking of car, I'd get my water pump done on the car, right? And it annoys me because it's almost. So I've got a Skoda Octavia VRS, beautiful car, love it, brilliant. And they've got a known problem with the water pump. So it's only got 37,000 miles on it, but it needs the water pump changed. So I had to get it changed. And I went to the one garage down the road. 950 quid quoted for the job. And I was like, Jesus. Went to another garage down the road, just over 500 quid the boy charged. And I told him, I said, you never guess what they charged down. And then he goes, well, he's going, obviously I'm still making a decent profit on charging you 500 and some quid. I mean, it just shows like you shop around or like garages and stuff like that. Like,
well, I had the clutch go on my old Volvo, and I loved it. It was like a like a kind of jalopy, but it just started every time. It was comfortable, and Volvo were going to charge like 1,500 for a clutch, and my one, like it was all over 1,000, and it was just I can't take that hit and just know what I mean.
Expensive, isn't it?
God,
just like all these things, you need like I think anything like an electrician or a plumber or a plasterer, you need to get somebody you can trust.
They're the friends you need to make. Never mind natural friends. Go out and specifically look for an electrician. Well, thank God Ellie's partner, Aidan, he's an electrician there. But you're right.
Yeah.
Once, and I'm refusing to do it, Mark. I'm refusing to want the halls painted and the kitchen painted. And it's just like...
I hate painting.
Oh, God,
decorating.
it's horrendous. I like wallpapering.
Right.
But I'm a bit of a prima donna. Everything's got to be outstripped. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I'll come in.
Yeah.
And do that. You know what I mean? But painting, for God's sake, man, it's just horrific.
But it's funny when I was watching a video last night, and you're talking about your mum and that, and like my mum and dad, I'm lucky they're just down the road there. But I remember my dad, I'd call myself a semi-competent DIYer.
Right.
So, I can get an IKEA thing and I can put it together, no bother. I can put up a shelf. I can trim a door.
Can you build a raised bed? That's where we get. That's the level.
Ish, yeah, a little bit. If there's any real carpentry or joinery of that, I'm. But my dad, I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but he could just turn his hand to anything. Mm-hmm. He'd do a bit of plumbing. He'd do a bit of electrician. He'd lay laminate floors in the house. He'd just do it. Mm-hmm. And it's like nowadays, I don't know whether I think generations almost become more privileged, don't they?
I'm sure it is. You know what I mean? I'm sure, I'm not saying we were born with silver spoons in our mouth, but it's just no. You wouldn't think, laying a floor. But I've watched, actually, my brother laid our floor downstairs and I helped him. And then once you know, you know what I mean? It's just like getting over that little hurdle of knowing. It was just like, I probably could do that.
But then I think there's something Audrey said on Monday on the show, and she said time is money. And it's not, I don't know about time is money, but I think time, like we were saying before, time's quite precious nowadays, isn't it? And the boy, when I first moved in this house, the flooring, in this room here, it was pink carpet. And it was orange walls, right? I kid you not, it was beautiful. So it's all the way. So I've got new floors all throughout. So in the living room, we've got laminate flooring and all the rest up the stairs, carpet and stuff like that. But the boy come in, brilliant guy, he's called, did all my flooring. And he was so quick. It would have taken me to do the laminate flooring in here so long. I probably could have done it. I probably could have methodically watched YouTube videos, taken my time, tapped it on and figured it all out. But it would have taken me ages. It would have taken me so long.
I know this sounds... You would have to get some tools. You know what I mean? Because Because building that raised bed, I knew this time, and that's what I've always kind of... Yeah. My drill that I had is not going to do the... No. It was starting to slip. So there was I forgot, what did that cost? Obviously I got the bloody... That was like 300 quid or something for that set of drills. Do you know what I mean? And that was in before... So if you're doing laminate flooring, because I've seen them, they came in here and put the floor down in here, and they have this. It's like a flat jigsaw. Have you seen them where they go under the door frames? Oh
no!
If you're putting floorboards down, and they've got to go under that door frame.
All right, yeah.
So you can get this tool now that because you would have to somehow with a saw,
get
cut an inch off. This thing just goes visit.
Done.
You know what I mean? So there's 150. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah.
And at our age, Mark, how many laminate floors we're going to? You know what I mean? Is it worth the investment? You know what I mean? That's the kind of if you're going to buy. Because I bought them drills there now. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? I'm going to put up a little shelf. You know what I mean?
I could do with a new drill though, because I bought an impact driver, so I've got a thing for doing the screws, but I've got a drill as well, and the battery, honestly, it must be the drill. The drill's probably 10 years old now or whatever, and it's the battery on it. The battery's gone, so I'll charge it. It'll take 2 hours to charge it. It lasts about 2 minutes. And, if you're trying to do a job and you're and you can hear it starting to run. The battery's and you're just complete. And you're trying to force it in the things. Please work.
Like you say, that drill that I had, it was just lovely to just it was just, and it was Ian from Grown Local. Did you see the nuts I used, Mark? The screws. They had a nut end on, so they just pushed into like, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you could get that style in like, you don't have to
Yeah.
get as big as chunky. It was just I was using thick wood. But it just was so nice just to kind of, it was almost like you say, it's cathartic. I've used that word so much.
Yeah.
Like, ew, it was done. Do you know what I mean? But to
that's
tackle
the-
floors are out, and my wife's
Oh, I
always
know.
saying, "You can do it. You can do it, and do it." We'll go for take the dogs for a walk, you know, and there's these
Yeah.
little kind of countrified cottages, and they've got these like wooden porches that look dead quaint. You could do one of them now because you've got your drills.
Yeah, you could do that. Piece of cake, Tony. Well,
It's completely tiled roof as well. You know what I mean? I'm like, Melanie, man, for God's sake.
well, the one thing I think I've half mentioned it to you. So at the back of the house is a big garage. It's like it's not a double garage. It's not a single garage. It's like halfway in between. But it's big, and I just use it for junk at the minute. There's just stuff stored in there. And I'm thinking at the back, I might build a little YouTube studio sort of thing. So I'm thinking but then it's like the way it's built, there's a perfect sort of partitioning bit in it where I can have a studio behind that, and then like the 3/4 of the front of it can just be like normal garage. Mm-hmm. And then
You'd
the
get a
back-
car in there still, would you?
No. I mean, we never put a car in it. It's just junk, just storage space in there. And then I was thinking, right, to begin with, just to test it out, I've got some old curtains, right? So I'm going to put the old curtains up because that'll be good for the sound, rebounding and stuff like that. So I thought, right, just try out, just test it. Then I started thinking, could I build a partition wall? Have I got enough skill to get something? And I started watching YouTube videos how to build a partition wall. And of course, you've got these time-served guys on there going, and you just did it. And I'm like, I reckon I could do that. And I think I could build a timber frame. I reckon I could build a timber frame. I could attach some plasterboard, chuck some insulation in it. But then I was thinking, what about a door? And then I looked at the doors, and obviously you've got the frame, and you've got the inset. And then I was like, and that stripped me up to the doors. What's putting me off?
I thought you were going to
trying it.
stop there at plastering because I would say, yeah, you could probably do that. Put like a stud wall up, complete, and then just get a plasterer to come in. But if you want a door in there as well,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Because
Well, I need people getting it out.
you've just
I don't know why I'm getting it out. I'm
damn it! I knew there was something. God. Nah, so what Melanie's trying to get the son to paint. I'm just saying, Melanie, man, just get someone. But it costs a fortune.
It does, doesn't it?
Do you know what I mean? It's just
They're in
like,
high demand though. These guys. If somebody's good, if your tradesman's available straight away, then you've got to think,
aye.
why aren't you fully booked? Because nearly everyone else you've got to wait for a good joiner, a good sparky, a good whatever. I was lucky the guy speaking, like I'd mentioned one of my videos. January was an expensive month for me because I had the car to get fixed. I was getting a new fuse box fitted in the house.
Oh,
and
right.
there was something else happened as well. What was the other thing I paid for? It was like 500 quid jobs basically on the.
There's always 500, isn't it? You know what I mean? Any job's got at least 500.
Yeah, but the Sparky who came, the boy Johnny's called magic, spot on. Comes along, it's him, the guy who works with him, and he's got an apprentice that he's training up to help out. He's in, did that. He did a couple of other little jobs around the house, half a day, done and away. And I guess that's what you're paying for. You're paying for his knowledge, his time served knowledge. It takes him half a day to do that.
Well, we had what like our hall downstairs.
Aye.
About 3 years ago, probably we had and he must have been a right cowboy. We had someone come in and just tile the floor and the wall.
Yeah.
So in our hall, it goes up the walls. That's fine. That's all right. But he only, and I only realised this after the kind of tile started to smash. He only dotted and dabbed the tile flooring.
Right.
So they started to smash. You know what I mean? Because it was only like say 5 like bits of glue or whatever you call it. And they just popped. We had to like at one point say, right, well, we're going to have to get, and this was like a year later, we're going to have to just like bite the bullet and get it, get a lad in. And he did the whole kitchen, the hall. But when he was pulling up the hall, he says, how much did you pay? We told him the price. He was like, he has just like used the minimum of material, like, because he didn't want to, spread it. He just had to dot. He says, You know what I mean? And you don't know, you know, you just think, you know,
No,
like...
exactly, aye. Because I think I've seen them with the... I'm going to get all the words wrong. Is it like it's travel sort of thing, where it's like notched in, isn't it, where they do the floors? It's
Yes.
like, and so like whoosh, all the way along and then put the tiles
Well,
on
he didn't
top,
do
sort
any of that. It was just
None of
like
that.
4 or
Aye.
5, like a domino, you know what I mean? And then put
Aye.
the tile on top.
Yeah, so you imagine it's going to... Like, it's obviously rigid, isn't it? And then if there's any air gaps, it's going to flex and then...
Especially my way of coming down the stairs, then landing on that bit at the end of the stairs that just gave way straight away. Do you know what I mean? It was just like...
Crikey, Moses.
Pulled it all
Speaking
up.
Speaking of cowboys, I've got a bit of a confession, Tony. And,
Go on, then.
it's gonna stick in the throat a little bit, but yeah, you were right, Tony. You were right about something.
Right.
And it's my first show and tell, and we've got the fan from Monday night show. So,
wait a minute.
You know.
Is that, can I taste humble pie?
so I was full of beans at my cheap fan off Amazon. I was
Right.
like, yes, get it cheap. Here we go. Runs on the old USB. Get it charged after the show. Charge it up. I'm gonna give this and I put it in the cupboard upstairs, right? And I turned it on Monday and put it near the microphone. But you know yourself, your software is really clever at blocking out background noise and the microphones and stuff, right? So I don't think I picked it up. And I put it on in the cupboard upstairs with the plant saw. And I came downstairs and sat on the couch and I was like, all I could hear was, "Wah!" And I'm, oh God, I've bought the wrong fan, haven't I? And I was like, I'm gonna have to get the same one as Tony.
Mind, I haven't. Where is it? It's on the bed. I haven't. But it's going to be in the greenhouse anyways.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I haven't switched that on or heard. I wish I had a plug.
Oh, but it made like I could hear it. Like it's upstairs. The cupboard door, because I've got a cable running in for the plugs for the lights and stuff.
Right.
There's a little gap. The door's almost shut. There's only a tiny little gap sort of thing. And it was on. It was in the cupboard, and I could hear it. And it was only on the first speed to begin with.
Right.
And I tried it on the other speeds. It's still the same, sitting there, even with the telly on. You know when he, I don't know, because I knew it was on.
Because you knew, aye.
I was tuning into it, and I was like, I was like, oh God, I can hear it. So it's going back. It's going to go back to Amazon. It's going to go back.
So mine, Mark. I'll just it's. Get the checkbook out. It was Spider. To be honest, there was 2. I was saying there was 2. There was the Mars Hydro, which I think was about £69-70, and I was just thinking, but it wouldn't. I was going to be honest, I was good, but it wasn't going to come until like March. So I was like, well, that's
a shame.
Pointless. Then I noticed the Spider one, and I went to their site, Spider Farm, and it was 33, and it looks, and there's even what you call it, you know, like an internet cable. You know, you plug your there's even like a socket for the, and I don't know what that's for, to be honest. I mean,
no, I think there's a thing because I've got the Spider Farmer lights, and they've got that cable in. I think it's called an RJ45. I think it's the connector type on that.
You big lad.
and certainly the lights, you can daisy chain them,
right?
So you can connect them up. So if you've got one, two, and I think you can control them all.
Oh, right.
So I wonder if you can somehow, Spider Monkey, you've got a Spider Monkey. Is it Spider Monkey?
That's the name of a band, is it not? That could be
our
our band.
What's Spider Monkey again? What's that? I don't know. I remember Spider Pig from the Simpsons movie and Homer with the Spider Pig. I wonder if you can connect the light to the fan and then control it all together somehow.
Right. I mean,
Spider Farmer. That's not the Spider Farmer.
I mean, it purely is kind of designed for hash grown. You know what I mean, like the tents, and you know what I mean. And it just so happens there's a lot of it grow the chilies, which is the same kind of setup. You know, they've germinated, Mark. The 5th of February. Them ones have all germinated, so they're all like 5, 6 are coming. You know what I mean? Most of them have got about 12 seeds in, so I'm just waiting for them all. Then I'll probably take off the little covers and set me. What I want to do, you know, Mark, is I'm hoping it comes today because Melanie's out there for yon time, to be honest. Reed's out. Oh, I've got a story about Reed as well. I've got and I'll be honest, I copied off Sean James Cameron. You know Sean James Cameron on YouTube? He's got this, and I should get in touch with him to save us all the hassle. He's got a live 24/7 camera set up on his allotment now, or on his garden.
Yeah.
And I've got it. there's a camera coming. I'm not exactly sure yet, and I've got some cat cable. I want to
Yeah.
put like the camera in the greenhouse
Yeah.
24/7. Well,
Nice.
at this moment, my Wi-Fi is not good enough for like 24/7 and do shows, so there might be.
Right.
But I wanted to kind of just have it so as like people can chat. It's not about watching
Yeah.
the video. It's about kind of. It's me playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I've got this kind of this security camera coming,
Okay.
and that's what I'm going to be playing with. If it comes today, if
Yeah.
Marion was saying in the chat there, it's like horrendous over in Ireland. There, I said, well, I'm just lighting the fire and cuddling the dogs. But if this camera comes, I'll kind of
Brilliant.
play with that because
Yeah.
I'll play while Melanie's out because you're like, what's this? Where's this? I thought we were trying to cut back.
Well, funny you should mention Sean James Cameron. I think he's a bit like Marmite, isn't he? Like, some people hate him and some people like him. I don't mind watching him because he used to be all about allotments and stuff like that when he was all gardening and stuff. But he made a change because he moved from London to Wales and he changed his channel, and it's sort of like an everyday kind of. This is just kind of what I'm doing every day kind of thing.
Well, I've been watching. I've
popular.
been watching him, and what was nice about it was he did one where he was just walking up his old school,
Yeah.
but he because he's been videoing for years,
Aye.
and he actually said this house here, the guy's just died. He says this is what got started in video, like
Right.
him excited, and there was a TV crew rocked up because the guy was
Yeah.
doing chrysanthemums or something.
Right.
He had the footage. Do you know what I mean? Sean had kept the footage. And then he said,
Wow.
I did my first film in this little corner shop. He had the footage, like, edited in.
Brilliant.
So it
Yeah.
was not just like he's wandering like that with a camera like I do. You know what I mean? He was.
Yeah.
It was like quite an interesting history.
Yeah.
Look, it's like his street. But
Yeah.
then, like I say, he's got this kind of live thing going on. I thought, I've always wanted it, just to
Yeah.
kind of point at the, you know what I mean, just for the season of growing in the
just,
greenhouse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we will see. We will see.
Fascinating. But then your video last night, I thought that was really good. The one you put out yesterday, it wasn't like a sort of allotment one. I mean, it had the garden centre at the end, but I thought it was brilliant. Just to sort of, I'm out with the dogs, go to see my mum, that sort of stuff.
I'm getting. I mean, this is what it's kind of. I'm not like hitting a wall with gardening,
Yeah.
but it's just like I couldn't. And there's people putting out videos and they're doing great, mind you. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
But how to sow a carrot, I couldn't do. I can sow carrots and then waffle about something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like five seeds to sow in March or something. I'm like, oh nah, I've been there, done that kind of.
There's one, I'm not going to name the person, but they come across as being quite sort of ditzy. And
Is that not me?
like, a lot of the videos are like, oh, I've made a mistake. Oh, I've done something silly. Oh, and it's like, you've been doing the same mistakes for the last sort of 3 years or whatever your channel's been there. I mean,
Right.
they're doing well. Their channel's doing well, but it's like, you're at it. You're not accidentally doing this. This is, you're purposefully doing these things.
See, I'll edit it out, Mark. Who's
See, this is the thing. I always tell everybody this at work, right? So people think in our place, right, information is currency, right? Basically, any office, any organisation, information is currency. And whenever anybody wants to keep something secret, I always say, don't tell anyone. Don't. As soon as you tell one person, you've told everyone. Because people use information as leverage, as currency to gain favour with people, just to general idle gossip and chit chat in the kitchen, anything like that. Like, if you really want to keep something secret, don't tell anyone. Tell one person, and I can guarantee you, everyone will know.
See, that's almost like your profession, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like secrets and stuff like. No, I'm not saying secrets and stuff and like MI5, but like security. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't give stuff away. Don't tell. You know what I mean? That's me. That's my password there. I'm just gonna. You know what I mean? Me Wi-Fi's. The company this, the company that.
Yeah.
It does. It just goes round. Do you know what I mean? It just goes round.
Yeah.
And it's surprising, mind you. YouTube. How you think people don't watch. I
Aye.
seen your Tony the other day. Do you know what I mean? And Melanie doesn't watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear you did this the other day. You know what I mean? Oh, you? Oh, you? You know, and like we've got close friends that like watch every episode. Do you know what I mean? And
Brilliant.
it's just, and it's
Brilliant.
just surprised how
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So, but
No,
that's
but
going back to that. That's what I've decided to kind of, you know what I mean? Like this is a cabbage.
yeah.
But I'll just waffle because I can waffle. I can't read a
Yeah.
script, you know, Mal. That's like kind of.
Aye.
I had to do once, you know. There was a sponsorship called Readly. I don't know if you've kind of, you know, the magazine online magazine. It's like
Oh, right,
it's an
right.
app you can get, and they've got
Aye.
all. I had to read a script for them to get
Yeah.
this to get the bit. God, man, it was just like I'd bought a whiteboard and
Yeah.
I'd wrote it all on and I put it behind the camera and could I get rid of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if they just tell us to waffle,
Yeah.
I can waffle. You know
It's
what I mean?
funny you should say that. Like I did. What day is it? Wednesday we're filming this. Monday I was in the office, right? Because I'm working on a project. I'll not bore you with. I'll not bore you with
Don't tell because you tell one person and it'd be a way.
supply chain security. Right? There's the most dull topic you could ever look at. Right? So securing a supply chain. But we've got a big project on the go, and there's a new system we're designing. And one of my colleagues, a boy called Lee, he's the guy with the Land Rover Defender.
All
And
right. Uh-huh.
we're filming a little video, so he's doing a little instructional video, and obviously me as the production expert was there filming it to put it all together. And I was like, he did a practice the other week, and he came across as really, hi, I'm reading this because I'm telling you what's on the screen, and I'm going, don't script it, don't like
Aye.
read it verbatim, word for word. Like I goes, just ad hoc it a bit. I goes, we're recording it. We can stop. We can start. We can stop. We can start. We can cut. We can stitch. We can just be yourself. It's you that's gonna sell it. That's gonna do the thing. And I remember I had to do a video for work years ago, and it was an induction video. So people coming in, right? Anyone joining gets to watch this video of me and another boy called Ian who I work with, right? And they scripted it. The comms people scripted it, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh God. And it was like, and what you need to do is, and I like, because obviously then I didn't do loads of YouTube, like back sort of 5-6 years ago. But knowing what I do now, like you're saying, just that sort of natural winging it, like ad hoc winging it sort of thing to the camera. Like you sort of have a half an idea. I'm going to do this today at the allotment. But I don't get like a script out and write it all out word for word what I'm going to say.
No.
You need that natural sort of.
And I think you can only get that though, Mark, if you kind of do like as many. I mean, I'm sure I'm close to now 1,000 videos for fuck's sake, man.
Brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? And there's no thought gone in. You know what I mean? It's just like I just press record, and actually, I don't see the camera. Do you know what I mean? I just kind of think I'm chatting to a friend. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like having a good. So I guess I would hate to watch early stuff of mine. Hello, you know what I mean? Hello.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Some of the old videos, and the one thing that annoys me is sound. Like when I see people starting out and they've got rubbish. Like I used to be terrible for, and I never knew at the time. You learn as you do it. But the wind noise, and I make obviously we film outside as well. Like a lot of the time
that still got me last video, Mark, because when I was out with the dogs, I had the mic inside me, against me chest, 2 or 3 layers, and I could still like.
You still get
it. Was muffled and the wind and me shouting. So there's 3 things, and it was irritating as like something. But then when I got into the car, I went, I'll let it go.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But it's I see. I look at I started out with my phone, like most people do. I started out using my phone.
That's the worst microphone ever. Do you know what I mean?
It's awful. It's so tinny and echoey now, and like now I've got a little DJI microphone kit that goes with the camera and that. Honestly, the difference is magic.
Well,
it's absolutely magic.
This is what I mean. I've got so many of them, but I'm using this at the moment, Mark, which is like. And it's like a bit of, there's a magnet there, so the little microphone, wherever it is, will just stick on there, and I just kind of put that, and then this is the best, like, down there's your best dead cat, unless it's blowing a gale, then you're going to pick up. To be
That
honest,
looks
though,
like, yeah.
I used that to me. I used that to me benefit once because I was doing a video with my phone about the storms, and I thought I'll just shoot this bit with the phone because it'll pick up the excruciating wind. So it was like
Yeah.
I knew it would be shit. You're like, oh, how are you doing? I'm here on the north face of the coast. I kind of use that to a benefit, you know what I mean? But, aye.
Oh, man. But funny saying that about the, talking to the camera and stuff like that. And I think obviously to begin with, I think everyone's quite wooden. You're quite sort of like, hello, here I am at the allotment today. Here's a bed, sort of thing. But like I was out at the weekend, so Saturday I was out. It was one of my pals' 40th birthdays, right? Probably I'd call my best friend up here in Scotland. Also called Mark. He's obviously got he's got a good name, So we're out and we're out in Edinburgh. And like that's like my close group of friends up here in Scotland, So I'm absolutely fine talking to them, and it's funny. Like I probably get social anxiety. I reckon it's probably social anxiety that I get. You know what he's saying before? You go to social situations, like the wife's out, you've got loads of friends, stuff like that. Oh man, it strikes a fear of new people and stuff like that. Like I do when I'm at work. If I go to a conference and there's new people and stuff like that, it's almost like a switch. And I'm just like, professional Mark. Like,
right.
Here we are. Hello, professional Mark. Nice to meet you. How are you? Yes, what do you do? All that sort of. And then I walk away. But you see, I'm exhausted after doing that. Like, if I go back to my hotel room on a night time, if I've been somewhere, and I've had that to do all day, I'm absolutely knackered. It drains the life out of me doing that. It's awful. Whereas with me, like Saturday, when we're out in Edinburgh, the chat it was just flowing. It was just... Because we all know each other, close, familiar friends that the little tight niche, like little tight group that we've got. And it was brilliant. Oh, what a brilliant day. Absolutely marvellous day. It was great. But you see, there was strangers and stuff like that.
Well, what was interesting, and I wasn't that bad, but I couldn't get up on stage and do, because I've often thought we'll do like a potty live, you know what I mean? But I was like, But you know what was weird is when I got everyone to help us that time. Like there was a few people came up and then we went, well, they all knew me. Do you know what I mean? That was like a bizarre... So they know me. You know what I mean? They know me like a next door neighbour. And yet I've never, probably spoke to them or anything. You know what I mean? And so it was like that was a weird mix, that. Do you know what I mean? Hey, Tony, how you know what I mean? I never you did, I know. And you know what I'm like... All right. But funny, it was on my allotments or my comfort zone. So it felt, you know what I mean, where if it'd been in a pub and I was on stage, you know what I mean?
I think I don't know, because excuse me a second, I'm going all croaky. Must be an age thing.
It's an age thing, yeah.
Like, I get asked loads of times at work, and that people ask me to speak at conferences, and I don't. I hate it. Like, I can talk to the camera like this, no bother. And like, you look at your videos and it's like 20,000 people have watched this. Now imagine 20,000 people in one place watching it. It's no bother. But I've turned down so many opportunities to talk on stage at conference. I couldn't do it. But you get a bit of, like, we talk a lot at work about imposter syndrome. So you begin to doubt yourself, you doubt your knowledge, you doubt your abilities. But I don't know if when he said potty mouth live, I think because we're all comfortable in our knowledge about the gardening, and if there's 5 or 6 up on the stage, like a panel almost, I don't know if you'd maybe feel a bit more comfortable. Or...
It ain't gonna happen. Look at where is it? Because I've got here. Because I get anxiety, so sometimes I get panic attacks. You know what I mean? And I get them doing lives. So there's a few times throughout the years I've been kind of something's hit us. I mean, even when was the last? I had like a little twinge when the last time Marcy was on. I don't know why, but not because of Marcy. Just that was the time Marcy gave us anxiety. But it was just like it happens, and I just had to kind of sit and you know what I mean. But I've this? So I have this. I carry this now, for years. I've carried this on my car keys. So my car keys, house keys, go everywhere with us. So in there, and it's never really cracked open. It might have been cracked open once in 15 years probably, is 2 Valium.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just,
That's good.
and it was just me thing for like, if I'm like stuck on a metro or something like that, that would,
aye.
you know what I mean, that would kind of kick it off. I know,
Yeah.
and I don't even, and it goes on holiday with us, and I carry my car keys, even though we're going in like to Spain, there's no car, I've got my car keys on it, you know what I mean?
Just in case.
Just in case, you know what I mean? Kind of, that's the bit, because the Bible say, Tony, we're in the middle of Madrid. What you take your car keys with you for? You know what I mean? Your car's 3,000 mile away back home. But it's just because of that little thing there. If there's like something happens, like a little, and I kind of like dampen it down. I just kind of think, well, and that having it dampens it down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
So it's like a thing where I think, oh, it's there. If worse
It's like a
comes to worse,
safety blanket, isn't it?
so that's why I kind of. I
You're
had
not
them
even
at
taking
work.
it.
I had it at work as well, because you'd be so involved with the kind of computers and like making sure pressure was all right.
Aye.
But because it was Northumberland Waters, like gold, and like everyone came to visit,
Yeah.
so you'd have to like, you know, you'd have directors coming. You'd have like, oh, what do you do? Tony, just show them what you do, and that was like the first couple. You know what I mean? I was like,
Just feel a bit.
this. You know, give me this.
Just in
You got
case.
used to it, but it was like, but like, potty mouth live, just that ain't good.
No, fills you with dread. See, you could do it like Malvern or RHL Chelsea or something like that on the stage. Thousands of people.
You'd have people rocking up to a mark and be like, well, that was a pile of shite. He just froze. Do you know what I mean? The cup there just froze.
Price, get my tickets back. We could be at the Sage. Should be the Sage and Gateshead.
Bloody hell. And that all stemmed, you know, from getting stuck in a tube in London. This whole kind of my thing. I just kind of. I mean, there was a incident that kicked it off. That started the tube. It was kind of young and daft, and we were kind of smoking silly stuff. That's where it started from. But no.
I don't know, you do remember these things, like there's the odd like significant moments, I think, isn't it, through your lifetime? Like when, you know, last week we were talking about being scared of heights and stuff like that. And like I say, it's got worse as I've got older. I think because you think more about it. I think, and I remember I'm not scared of flying. Like I don't mind flying. I quite like being on a plane, but I hate like turbulence. You see turbulence, and like especially if it drops, you know, in the drops. Sometimes. Jesus, man! I remember I was on a flight once.
I'll drop you the link, right? You can keep 2 volume in there.
Couple of them, smashing. But I was going to, I think it was Australia. I was going to Australia, and we flew from Heathrow to Singapore, and it was that flight Heathrow to Singapore. Oh, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. Oh, and then you're like, and that. Ever since that flight, like I say, I'll still now. I'll go on a plane, no bother. I'll go on a plane and fly somewhere. But you know, what my coping mechanism is I get the you know, the in-flight magazine.
Right.
I get that and I read, and I'm like, I'll read every inch of it, every single bit of it. And again, it's like we're saying about, you know, when you're scared of heights, like. I don't like being touched on the plane. Like I don't want to. Like nothing's going to happen. Like I'm on a plane in a big metal tube, and I say, "Don't touch me on the plane. Don't just let me sit."
I've been there with the plane because I associated the plane with the inside of a tube.
Aye.
You know what I mean? I'm like, once I'm in, I'm stuck in. I'm panic.
Yeah.
And I used to like have to get, not say mortal, but even coming back, you know, when you come back from somewhere and there's like, we always like, is there a bar in the thing? And if there wasn't, you know, you'd have to go to the sandwich thing. They might have like little gins, the little bottles. I would drink about 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. This is only about, say, I don't know, 5. Well, since I stopped drinking, you know, I would have them, and it would be, you'd feel shit on the plane, and I'd feel, I couldn't drive home from the airport because I'd be too, you know what I mean? And it would make us feel yucky the first, because I'm terrible with drink. That's why I stopped drinking.
Aye.
The first flight I did, like, not drinking, it was a breeze. Do you know what I mean? Really? I don't know, like, I just thought, you know what I mean? I quite enjoyed it. I make sure I've got like a lot of like content to watch, Like, I'll treat myself to a film. I'll make sure it's downloaded. Do you know what I mean? And all that kind of thing. I've got loads of podcasts, I've got, Kindles and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't been on a big flight for, for years. I also remember we went to Florida with the kids to Disney World, and I took a Valium to get on the plane. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then on the way back on the way there, they got the seats mixed up, and they didn't have a seat for me for when the paperwork came through. Not before on the flight. This is before. And it kept on my name was never on the. You know what I mean? It was always there was two families. You know what I mean? All this, but there wasn't never me. And on the way back, we got upgraded to first class. Hey, Mark, I popped a little thing in. You know what I mean? In the toilets, I popped a little volume in there. I slept the whole flight.
Oh, really?
Aye, the whole flight I slept back.
See, I'd love that if I could sleep on a flight.
Oh,
if I could sleep all the way through. Magic. Perfect. Love that. Because I like America. So I'd like to do more of America. So I've been to New York, I think 3 times. I love New York. I absolutely love New York. And I want to say Robbie. So Robbie's 12 now. And I think he's getting to the age where when I've taken places, he'll remember them.
Right, aye. The dome and the tots, mind you. Do you know what I mean? Like, Reed has got no idea. We went to Florida, we've been to Boston, New York. He's got no idea of that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping sometime in the next... He really wants to go to Canada as well. So New York's obviously right next to Canada. So I thought, we could fly New York, a couple of days in New York, up to Canada, a couple of days in Canada, back over. But... obviously I save my pennies and stuff like that. I need a few more patrons, please, or a few more subscribers, and we might get to New York.
I was telling you before we kind of press record, hasn't that company, the lawnmower company, invited us to fly us over to Germany for a...
Oh, Tony, you got to do it. Got to do it.
You know what? I would jump, and I want to send us a new, and I might get the grass cutter, but the lawn is wrecked. Do you know what I mean? And actually, she's been the nicest, PR. She sent us a whole satellite thing where I could take it to a playing field.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? And just have it running around a playing field kind of thing. But it's just
Well, if you've got any spares, I was thinking about putting grass paths in at the allotment. So brilliant.
They've even got one that actually picks up the leaves and dumps it in a specific area of what you want. You know what I mean?
Man, it's the future, Tony. Honestly,
I would go out and turf this garden just so I could get a new lawnmower. You know what I mean? Not that I need a new lawnmower, but someone's bloody... I put this on silence, but it keeps coming through. I would even turf the whole thing, but I know the daughter, and he's right outside there now, Mark, Prince. Yeah. He would just dig it up within... You know what I mean? And there's no way I'm paying probably, I don't know, 300 quid to just lay turf and just get it.
The garden here is I just moved into this house in December. So the garden at the front, big long driveway at the front, and then it's all chips, all stone chips out the front, and it's pretty much the same out the back. It's got the big garage, and then it's all chips, and it's it's low, and I'm swithering what to do with it because it's low maintenance, so it doesn't take any looking after because it's all the chips. But I'm I'd like a bit of, some flowers or something. So I might put some pots out, something out the front, might put something in the middle, like an Acer or something. Japanese maple sort of things, because you can put them in a pot, and it won't turn into a massive tree, and it look lovely. And then I thought I might try and do a starburst sort of shape coming out from that, different pots,
right,
with different flowers in. Then I started thinking, when you start going down rabbit holes, because I don't know loads about flowers, but I remember it was either Soph, I think it was Soph who said once,
Sophie's the
about thinking about you have your tall ones at the back, and then your medium ones, and I'm I'd have to have my tall ones at the back, and then I'd have to have this, and I'm this is getting off. This has gone from having a couple of pots in the front garden down all this stuff. So I'm coming up with a plan.
I seen a YouTube video, Mark. I never knew, because every time we go to Scotland quite a bit. You know what I mean? We've got a lovely little place to stay in Port Patrick, and we've stayed a few places. In every town and village that I go, I've always and even this estate where we stay on in Port Patrick, the big mansion house castle almost. It is pebble dashed, rendered.
Pebble dashed, yeah. My house is pebble
and I'm why is all pebble dashing? You know, and I couldn't. Yep. And then I watched this YouTube, Mark, and it said because you're north, you've got torrential rain and hellish winds,
But then-
like
but
brickwork
then-
would just.
But then 120 miles down the road or whatever from where I am, Cramlington, where I used to live, southeast Northumberland, red brick. All the houses,
Aye.
red brick, all in brick. No pebble dash, nothing anywhere. It was all
Aye.
red brick. So I've got to get it. Actually, the pebble dash is knackered on the garage. I've got to get it fixed. Must have been water getting in behind it
Right.
at some point. And that storm that came,
The last one.
Eon. They could have given it a better name.
I know.
But like the winds come in, obviously got behind it or whatever, and it's knocked some of the rendering stuff
Right.
off. So I had to get somebody out to fix it. It's not like world-ending kind of stuff, but I'll have to get it fixed. It looks messy more than anything. The aesthetics of it looks messy. So there's another
There's a bit of money.
job
So,
that'll need doing, isn't it?
so is that the reason, though, why Scotland's pebble dash to hell and back? Because of like the driving rains?
I'm assuming so. I'm assuming the render must protect the brickwork behind it. But yeah, all the houses, honestly, it was so
everywhere,
different to me. All loads of pebble dash everywhere. I mean, there is some houses that are red brick and stuff like that. But most of them are rendered. I think nowadays a lot of the new ones that are built, it's not like pebble dash or rough cast. It's just the
Oh yes, I know
the
what you
sort
mean.
of plaster, just the sort of, and then it'd be painted white or what, a lot. Actually, thinking it, a lot of the new ones are white.
It's
so
like a
they'll-
kind of
they'll-
almost, well, not smooth, but I know what you mean. Like a kind of,
it's, yeah, like
aye.
sort of, like you get the plaster and they've done the thing and they've painted it instead of like the little pebble dash sort of thing. But I don't know. Maybe it's a way to save money, or maybe it's just the trend.
well,
what
this
people
this
like
video
these
said
days.
it was directly to do with like these bracing rain, wind would just
Aye.
corrode the brick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess brick
Oh,
is
I
a bit
imagine.
porous and
good.
soft.
Last thing I want to do is spend more money.
I
Spend
know,
more money
I
on
know,
repairs.
I know.
Can do without that. I've got robot lawnmowers to spend money on. Once I'm influenced, I've got to spend my money on robot lawnmowers.
Have you got a decent lawn there? Have you, Mark?
No, nothing. No, it's all chips. It's all chips.
All right,
All-
right, front and back.
Nothing. There's no grass, not front and back. It's all
Right.
chips, and then down the sides, the driveway. That's all like pavement sort of slabs. So I want to put a bit of greeny, a bit of colour. So I listen to a podcast called Scotland Grows, a podcast, and I go for a walk. I try to go for a walk every day. Off I go, put my wee AirPods in, and there was a guy. A lot of them talk about garden design on there as well,
Right.
And they say about having a tree that gives you all year round interest. So obviously a lot of flowers and that you grow. They come up late spring into summer, deed gone. There's you're just left with a pot full of compost at the end of it. But that's why I'm thinking an acer in the middle, because obviously they go all different colours. So like green, and the leaves go that really interesting orangey, rusty sort of coloured.
Yeah.
Before eventually dropping off. So I'm thinking, whole season interest. Kind of thing. See,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
getting
lovely,
design.
to be honest. If you get like a, you know what I mean, if you get one or it grows into a nice mature one, they just look.
Yeah.
And especially,
Yeah.
they get that kind of Japanese feel where they're kind of like leaning over like one
Yeah.
particular way. They're just.
Well, I quite like I know obviously JB's in Japan at the moment, but I quite like because there's a Japanese garden up the road from us. Trying to think of the name. It's probably, I've looked at it, about 40-45 minutes drive from here.
Like
And I'm
one
thinking-
open to the public kind of Japanese.
Yeah, like
All
a
right,
proper
right.
big, massive, maintained sort of one. Public can go along, you pay. But it's not expensive to get in. And you can get a cafe and stuff there and things like that. And I thought, I'm just going to have a little trip up there sometimes. And the pictures on the website looks beautiful, all tranquil. A lot of water, I think, in a Japanese garden. And the plants and stuff looks beautiful. The architecture and things. I'm like, once the weather's a bit...
I was going to say,
Although-
it'd be like, well, you could go now and just take photographs and then see what it's like when you come
it would look
go
very
back.
different,
Do you know
wouldn't
what I mean?
it? Yeah.
That'll be interesting, to be honest. That
Yeah.
way, to be honest.
So I might just have a little...
I was just saying, I watched a Robson Green programme on the telly last night,
Oh,
and he was in Yorkshire somewhere in this garden that had been, and it just looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Total, like
Yeah.
release pressure, and they're actually
Aye.
doing yoga on this like
Brilliant.
little veranda-y, like lakeside thing.
yeah.
Lovely.
Is that the one where he's got like a different guest each
Yes,
week?
aye.
He goes, usually around like northern
It's
England.
normally
so,
but this time I think he's branching out, and he's going to Yorkshire, and he went with Nicola Adams, the boxer, and they were doing, you know,
Nice.
like, and it was just
Brilliant.
this place just looked lovely. To be honest, it was just like, oh, that is. I mean, it was obviously not filmed yesterday. It was filmed,
Yeah.
you know, probably the summertime last year, but.
He's done well for himself, mate.
Oh,
From
aye.
soldier,
Aye.
you know, to
Young
doing
lad.
what he does now.
See,
He's done.
there's always
well.
sometimes though. I always think, and I think he's coming back to it. Like he tried to lose his accent.
Oh, he's very posh. Yeah,
You
very.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now he's coming. Now he's like embracing his roots again. It's like, you know what I mean. He's like so.
Yeah,
I was a bit.
I quite like him, though.
But I
He's
like
quite-
that. I like that program.
It was like your video yesterday, Tony. It was wholesome. That's what I call it. 'Cause I like watching. What do I watch? Whitehouse, Paul Whitehouse, and Bob Mortimer.
Oh, man, aye.
Gone fishing.
Aye, aye.
What a brilliant
Oh,
TV
God, aye.
program that is. Yes, I don't go fishing.
No,
but
no,
this
oh,
team-
God, no.
those
No,
two
no,
together. Oh.
It's good as well because they talk about like friendship and men's health and kind of, do you know what I mean? And
Aye.
taking.
Yeah, because they have the heart doctor on, don't they? Because they both had heart problems
Aye.
in their lives and stuff.
Well, look at
but
it.
what a brilliant
This is,
show
look
it is.
at that's me.
Brilliant.
There's me pills.
Really feels-
You know what? Since like I never took a pill like this, but now you know what I mean. I've got
Yeah.
like
Aye, every
the
day.
whole. Have I took?
But that's
years?
I take a multivitamin every day now. Like
Oh,
since
there's one of them in there as well. And
I've noticed like, my skin gets a bit dry now around here and up here, and I'm like, oh, and I'm moisturising like here, especially where I tied my beard up here. It gets all dry around here, and like putting the moisturiser on and stuff.
well, honestly, Melanie buys me so much of that, and it never gets. Do you know what I mean? Kind of
Aye.
just wash myself in cold water in the morning,
Yeah.
and just like
No, I trim my beard. It gets oiled, it gets washed, gets conditioned, gets the moisturiser on it.
Does it?
Aye.
Oh.
I've got a brush. Have you got a brush?
I did have. You know what I mean? It needs actually a good cut. I wanted to mention, Mark. You know, we were talking about pensions and that. That must hit home with our demographic of age of like viewers
Yes.
watching. Like I had loads of like messages and kind of a couple of emails. You know, like the slider. You know, like you're kind of backwards
Yeah,
and
when
forwards
can I
on that
go?
slider. That must be when you hit to a certain age.
Aye.
That just must be constant.
I know there must be there's going to be a sweet spot, isn't there, for everyone for everyone's situation. And I think again once kids are older and moved out and stuff like that, and mortgages are clear, then you've just got to.
Oh, if you can get mortgage clear before you even touch that, you're doing grand. We couldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We couldn't do that at all. But we were lucky enough to kind of do it after. But I was just like, you know what I mean? But what happens if it makes 4%? Yeah, but what happens if it makes 8%? 8% in 10 years? Oh, look at that, 8% in 10 years. You know? It's
Because
like-
you want to be comfortable, don't you? You don't want to be sort of worrying when you're retired. But the other side of it is your life, your health. You know, like I always remember that there's a guy at work. He was a cracking guy, a guy called Kenny Logan, right? And he did really. I remember him because he did well by me at work and really, really helped us out. And he took a package, and retired early. I think he was like 58 or whatever. He was one of these guys. He knew everyone, social butterfly.
Right.
He was like chairman of the caravan club. He was down the bowls club and stuff like that. And he was retired 4 years, done. And he's like worked his whole life, you know, like up to whatever age. And he's, like I say, social butterfly, loved going out, people doing different stuff. Took a package, I'm away. Yes, brilliant. Like, get in, Kenny, on you go. Loved his cars, had like an apartment in Spain and stuff like that. Never any kids himself. But him and his wife Adele, live their life. That was it. He was retired, say 3 or 4 years. Deed.
Mind you, that was the thing that crossed my mind so many times. Like, is this like now kind of was diagnosed with that kind of bladder?
Yeah.
Oh, have you heard Alexis?
Oh,
I'm not.
that,
She's saying there. I'm not quite sure how
parcel's
to help
coming.
you with that. Well, I can know that, man. You know what I mean? But it was just like when I got that, I was thinking, this is almost like cliche. Do you know what I mean? Like you retire and then that happens. Do you know what I mean? So touch wood, it's kind of
I know, it's
sort of thing.
awful,
But
isn't it?
it's but retirement, I think, is just like some people love going into work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and just
Yeah, I don't mind my job. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not like I wake up every day and go, Christ, I don't want to
if
be
you've
doing
got
this
that,
today."
then it's
Aye.
then
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's unfortunate that's
Yeah.
like not very nice. You know what I mean. But if you can go in and
Yeah.
enjoy it, you know what I mean. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
But equally, I can't wait to not go in. You know, I love my holidays. I love my time off, and I can't wait to have that. Like you say, play a bit more golf, be up the allotment a bit more, going out and about and doing things.
Because everyone does say like, well, what are you going to do? Because honestly, I was 56 when I retired, and you think,
Aye.
you know, and I wasn't intending to, like I mentioned last
Yeah.
week, I wasn't intending to go then. It's just I didn't want to go back to work full time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
partner was gone, but what are you going to do with your life? What?
Yeah.
I can fill this. I can fill. You know what I mean? Doing this.
Fill my
That
days up,
nonsense.
don't worry.
You know what I mean? There's
Aye.
like lots to kind of
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
mine, I do get, and it's like. It's almost like a little guilty little thing, you know what I mean? If like Melanie goes
Yeah.
to work one day and it's not very nice out. You know what? You know
Feel.
what? I did a
Telly on.
video a couple of days ago. You know what? Let's just get a bit of telly on. Let's just have a
Right.
lazy day.
Too right.
Get the, you know, like, come on, get the dogs up on the settee and just.
It's like when people say, "Oh, if I won the lottery, it wouldn't change me." Bloody changed me.
Oh,
I tell you
no.
that.
Oh,
I tell you
yeah.
that for nothing.
Yeah.
I'd be living a right old good life if I'd won the lottery.
Bloody
Jeez,
hell.
no, but I'm not.
No.
But imagine that. Imagine just getting like because you get people in life who have a lot of money, but like most people have either inherited it, so they're used to it. You know, you've grown up being very rich, or you've worked your way towards it. You know, you've built a company and you've gradually built up. But imagine just one day you've got a normal life. All of a sudden, like literally 1 second after the draw, you're 20 million quid richer
All
or
right,
something
right.
like such an
Well, I remember,
unimaginable
Mark, I
amount of
remember
money.
when we got the pension. Mine, it was like so the lump sum was a final
Yeah.
salary, and the company stopped that. You know what I mean? I was like one of the probably last to get it, and this was like years ago. But I remember like we transferred it out, and that was a way hassle as well. You had to, you know. Actually, my financial advisor is a lovely chap there now.
Yeah.
We all used him, but I carried on using him. You know, like there's a few like I thought I'll just take it out, then I'm going to manage it, put it in SMP, whatever. But I remember because you could get I think it's 25% free, like tax free. I
Yeah.
remember some of that coming into our bank the first time to pay off the mortgage. You know what I mean? And have a little treat, a little bit. And I
Yeah.
remember that like lump of falling in, going, me.
Jesus, look at
You know
that.
what I mean? And it was just like a bank transfer, nothing special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whoop, there it is. And I'd never seen that kind of amount. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was always minus. You know what I mean? If you go to my
right.
bank there now, I swear it'll be minus. Do you know what I mean? I live in an overdraft. So to have that, and then just to pay off the mortgage, it was just like, am I going to get wrong for this? You know what I mean? It was almost like this. What have I done? You know what I mean? It's like, is this mine?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of. It's just bizarre, to be honest.
One of these days. That's my retirement plan. Winning the lottery.
So, see,
Maybe my stick numbers come up.
just I know that sounds if anyone's it's just pension. Just concentrate on your
Aye.
pension. Do you know what I mean? Like every.
Absolutely. Aye.
How
Yeah.
much do you spend? Because I don't get the lottery, Mark. How much do you spend on the lottery?
You see, I've got a problem with the lottery,
Well, you
Tony.
see,
Right?
I did,
So-
and I just forget the numbers. I know you probably know them, and you will forget them.
So when I was 15, right, that's when the lottery started, right, when it first started, and there was me and 3 friends, and we all put, because I looked the oldest. It's you have to be 16 to buy a lottery ticket, so I looked the oldest, and I used to go to the shop and buy the lottery ticket for us, and I put on the same numbers today
Never.
that we used to put on
Right.
the very first day, right that we started the lottery. I put the same numbers on now. So I put one ticket on a Wednesday and one ticket on a Saturday. And it's dead easy now. I'm on the website. It's just direct debit. Does it all the time,
Yeah.
so I don't have to remember to do it. But the same numbers. And I've now got to do that for the rest of my life.
Aye.
Because if I don't, and
It's
the
that
numbers
one
come,
week.
could you imagine? Could you imagine it? So
I'll be on
yeah,
here
so
as a
that's-
counsellor if that happened. Mark, now listen, just calm down before you do anything silly. Just calm down. Listen.
So that's 30 years. 30 years.
Well, I can
now,
remember the
Jesus.
first day. I can remember, honestly, the first draw. We were in this
Aye.
big house in Fenham. There was about four, maybe five with Melanie there.
Aye.
And we thought we were going to win. It was as simple as, like, you know what I mean? It was just like,
Yeah.
it was such an anticlimax because, like, we were like, oh, like, because this was a big thing in England at the time, you know, like the first day of and then it just drew the numbers and we had nothing. And it was just like, all right.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
been
right.
nothing. You know what I mean? Like I say, I stopped. But I did have numbers, but I can't remember them there. But that's a little bit, you've got to keep going, basically.
I'm just looking, like I say, the direct debit, the website thing's brilliant because it just does it for us every Wednesday, every Saturday. It just does it, and I'm
Saying
magic.
that, wait till you get to this point then, because Melanie does it because it's her dad's numbers. And when her dad passed away, Melanie took on that burden. You know what I mean? So,
it's even worse. That's even worse for me.
so just think your son's going to have to carry on this burden of the numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no inheritance, son. But here's 6 numbers that you've got to spend money on every week. You might just win.
And it's every, like, now and again, we'll get an email saying, you've won. You know what I mean? Please log into your account.
It's a lucky dip.
And you think of tenner. You bloody hell.
Oh, man. Got to be in it to win it, though. Got to be in it to win it.
Exactly. Mark, we have chatted.
Yep.
We had we had a list of things to talk, and we haven't touched the fucking list. Do you know what I mean? A couple of things we've hit on that list, but there's still so much.
We'll save the rest for next week.
Yes, and we'll add. And if anyone wants to kind of drop a line, and you know what I mean, put it in the comments. Let us know things to chat about. But we are here to help and enrich. And
enrich everybody's
educate.
Well, our life must make everybody else's look better. So it makes everyone feel better.
That's right. If you can see how sad and lonely we are, then you must think, hey, I'm doing actually all right. Do you know what I mean? All right, yes.
No, indeed. So if anybody wants some lottery numbers,
yeah. If anyone takes on Mark's burden, you know what I mean? He'll definitely share them with you. So yes. Well. It's been fab. Thank you, everyone that's been in the chat as well. I just realised, you know what I mean? So
I've not even seen the chat. I've not even looked.
I know. It's been a while. Sorry about that. Yes. It's hard to kind of, when you're chatting away, just to kind of...
keep an eye on it, isn't it?
Keep an eye on it, yes. So we'll see each other, Mark, next week then for another kick back and relax into, you know, just ease into the weekend.
I've got my glass of water.
Well, it's actually tea for me. Oh, that's what have you seen, I don't know if you've even seen, there's a cup of tea, Mark, just before we go. My wife bought us this, and it was a Winnie the Pooh tin from Disney, but it had full of tea bags. Now,
nice.
I'm Yorkshire Gold. Gold.
100%. I'm with you,
right?
100% Yorkshire Gold.
She moved me Yorkshire Gold. She says, that's going to look lovely, and I'll get a, well, it's just downstairs. It's a big tin. The tin looks nice. The tea was rank. Hey, honestly, and I've there must be about 300 tea bags in this thing. I've had to just sling the whole lot. Do you know what I mean? It was just how can, it must have been just like tea dust that were put into these tea bags. You know what I mean? It's like
Yorkshire Gold. Because in here, I do most Tesco's the closest supermarket to me. I do most of my shopping there, but they only sell Yorkshire tea. They don't sell Yorkshire. I've got to go to Sainsbury's at the other end of town to get the Yorkshire Gold. But it's worth it. It's worth the trip. It's worth the trip.
Well, I just nipped to the Co-op, so it's a village Co-op, so everything's so much dearer. So for 80 tea bags Yorkshire Gold, it was, and this was with offer, it was $3.50. This was with the I know. But I bought 2 boxes because I thought, well, I'll put them in the tin, but I'm going to chuck all them out.
You don't want to run out.
You know what I mean?
No, 100% Yorkshire Gold. There's a topic for next week.
Yes. Mark, it's been lovely seeing you. Take care, everyone. Toodle bip.
Bye-bye.
Bye.